So right when I'm about to go into night vision, my camera runs out of recording space. Hey everybody, welcome back to Life Under Deborah's Palm, and today we are going to look at visions and night visions. Last time we looked at dreams, and you know the usual. There is a link below if you want to read it on the blog. You can go visit there. And also, you can like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff that I tell you. So now we're going to talk about visions and night visions. I'm going to read to you out of Joel 2:28, and this is not an exclusive list or an extensive list of people who will have dreams and visions and things like that, but it's always quoted, especially at this time. It's an end time scripture, and if you don't know it, we are in the last days. They could go on for hundreds of years, but who knows? But we are in that time. And Joel 2:28 says, "It will happen afterward that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. And your sons and daughters will prophesy, your old men will dream dreams, your young men will see visions." Now, if you're not a young man, it doesn't mean that you won't see visions. But the point is, the Spirit of the Lord is pouring out on everyone, and everyone's going to have these giftings if you want them. It doesn't mean that they're going to be a public gifting where you get up somewhere, whether it's in a church or whatever, and give a long-winded giant word, but God is speaking to all of us in these days. And that's really important to understand, and if nothing else, He speaks it just to you. Because you have things that you need to do, and you need to hear the Lord in order to do them. So a vision versus a dream. We talked about dreams the last time. Obviously, dreams, you're sound asleep. Visions, you are not asleep, you are awake, but you see something. So kind of think of it, I guess I think of it like a daydream. You know, maybe you're sitting in school, in a classroom, or you're in a doctor's office, you're just waiting around, and you start to think of maybe something in the past, like you did something and your brain vacations there, and you see the whole thing kind of play out in your mind's eye. Or you're thinking of what you might do later today when you get out of class or your appointment, and your brain goes there and sees it all in your mind's eye. That's kind of what a vision looks like, except it's not you. Hopefully it's God. You know, we'll talk about judging and testing words, but hopefully it's from God. But that's what a vision looks like. I'm not a real big vision person. I never have been. But biblically, I'll just give a quick example. This comes out of Acts 9:7. And before Paul was Paul, he was Saul, and he was persecuting the church. And finally one day God has enough, slaps him off his horse and blinds him. And he's taken to Judah's house, and God visits another man in the city. His name is Ananias. And it says, "Now there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias. The Lord said to him in a vision, 'Ananias.' He said, 'It's me, Lord.' And the Lord said to him, 'Arise and go to the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judah for one named Saul, a man of Tarsus. For he is praying, and in a vision,'" another vision, "'he has seen a man named Ananias coming in and laying hands on him that he might receive his sight.'" Paul's praying and gets a vision of this dude coming, and the dude's praying and he gets a vision to go to Paul to lay hands. And he does, and the scales fall off his eyes, and the rest is history, as we say. That's really simple, and it was very direct instruction. "Ananias, you're to get up and you're to go find Saul of Tarsus. He's in Judah's house on Straight Street." You can't get much clearer than that, and he's waiting for you to pray for him so he can receive his sight. That's a pretty straightforward thing. There's not a lot of interpretation needed there. The opposite of that really simple vision is found in the book of Revelation. And the Apostle John has been exiled to the island of Patmos, where he receives a vision of the Lord. And this puppy is like end time, we don't understand it all, revelation, you know, throne rooms. It's loud, it's crazy, it's wild, and he sees all sorts of things going on. His vision goes on for like, I don't know, 15 chapters, 16 chapters, 17 chapters. It goes on for a long time, and a lot of it is beginning to be understood. It's been years in the making. I mean, this was 2,000 years ago. But that was a vision that needed a lot of interpretation. So right when I'm about to go into night vision, my camera runs out of recording space. It's always something. But at least it wasn't the phone or the dog this time. Sorry about that. Anyways, so now you get another jump cut. Now we're going to talk about night visions. So here's what a night vision is as opposed to a vision. A night vision is something that happens in a space I call twilight. I think that's what it's called anyways, where you're not really awake and you're not really asleep. It's like that fuzzy, weird space. And during that time, that's personally, I'm a night vision person and a dreamer. I see more stuff there than I ever will during my waking daytime hours. Just how I'm built, I guess. But in that space, when you hear and see, a lot of times hearing accompanies it with really direct instruction. And I'm going to read to you an example out of the Bible, and then I'll tell you one of my own personal examples. And this comes out of Acts 16:9. And again, now Saul has become Paul, and he's getting direction during a night vision. And it says, during the night, Paul had a vision of a man of Macedonia, standing and begging him, come over to Macedonia and help us. After Paul had seen this vision, we got ready at once to leave for Macedonia, concluding that God had called us to preach the gospel to them. Real clear instruction. He saw the guy, and the guy spoke to him, and he believed, you know, the Lord was saying, Paul, take your peeps and go to Macedonia and help those people. That's how night visions are. They can need some interpretation, but a lot of times they are a pretty straightforward and direct thing. Personally, this is me. We work with a worship center, and I have played guitar in the past, and I haven't played in decades, I guess, is probably a good way to put it. And I was kind of iffy back when I took lessons, but I had a night vision. And as I was almost asleep, I had a vision of myself. It's weird. I was like watching myself at the place that we go to, and up where the musicians line up, I saw myself, and I had my guitar, and I was getting ready. I was like tuning it and, you know, fiddling and all the stuff you do when you get ready to play. And then I heard a voice, and the voice said, you will play guitar. Do I need a lot of interpretation? No. And it wasn't even like, oh, your time's coming, you're going to play guitar. It was like, no, you will do this. This is what I'm calling you to do in this season. And so, again, that was a night vision. Very simple, very easy, not hard to understand at all. No interpretation needed on that. Where dreams can be wild and crazy, and it's pretty rare that they don't need interpretation. Usually dreams are just so symbolic that they take time. So now you've had a vision or a night vision or whatever you've had, and what do you do with it? Well, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told you with the dreams. Write them down. Even if they're simple, like I just said, mine was real obvious about playing guitar, but a lot of times God will begin to speak, and the picture's like this really long thing you need to know, and you're getting this piece, but then it could be a day, weeks, maybe a few months before you get the whole picture, and you'll get it in pieces. And so when you write things down, you can go back and look, because you think you'll remember, because I always think I'll remember, and it doesn't happen. And I'll be going to my husband, remember, didn't I see something about this, or didn't I tell you something about this, because I didn't write it down. So really, write stuff down. It will make things so much easier. Or like I've said, voice recorded, it's probably faster and easier. So that is the difference between visions and dreams and night visions, and I hope this really helps you out and that you'll start writing things down. And just like dreams, we're going to go into some interpretation stuff in a few more videos. Until the next time, be blessed.